Well, joining me now, New York Times reporter and MSNBC contributor Teddy Schleifer, along with Megan Hayes, former special assistant to President Biden, and Maura Gillespie, former advisor to former Speaker John Boehner. It's good to see all three of you. Teddy, you first here. Where do things stand right now? I mean, Musk he's backed off of a threat to decommission SpaceX Dragon spacecraft. But your paper and NBC, among others, reports that Trump is considering selling the red Tesla that he bought in March at that flashy White House lawn event we all witnessed. Are we headed towards a reconciliation or estrangement?
Well, I thought the most interesting move today was Elon Musk deleting probably his worst tweets about Trump, where he ties him to Jeffrey Epstein. Elon Musk and his Twitter deletions, you could write a PhD on kind of how that's done, but it's not done casually. Many of us have sent a message we want to take back, and obviously there's some indication that Elon feels that way about these Epstein tweets. I don't know if it's a truce or if it's just like a cooling of tensions. You can choose your wording, but I thought that was the most revealing window into his state of mind, which is he's going back to a message he sent a couple of days ago and deleting it. He's not recanting it. He's not apologizing. He's not putting out a press release that he deleted it, but he is very aware of his feed. He's very aware that things like that will get coverage and chose to do so intentionally.
But he has also liked a couple tweets or whatever you want to call them, X's. I'm not sure I even refer to them. He has of people who've said, oh, you need to reveal everything from the Epstein files and put out lists and all that kind of thing. Let me ask you what we heard there in that soundbite with regard to government contracts. What's the status of that? Where's that stand?
Yeah, I mean, I think everything's on the table. I mean, clearly this is obviously an evolving situation. And, I think there's a lot of steps in between Russ Vought saying that's on the table and Donald Trump saying it's on the table and it actually happening. I don't even know how that even would be done, frankly, in any kind of effective way. Excuse me. Clearly, there's an effort to get something, they're keeping the option on the table, and I understand why.
So, Megan, to you now, because Musk has made numerous threats about the information that he could release. He has had unprecedented access to Trump and the administration, so there is a potential for damage if he were to talk, right? However, as The Guardian points out, members of Trump's inner circle, they're going to have had the same access to Musk, whose personal life is becoming a media staple. So are the headlines of mutually assured destruction correct? And just, digging into what you've done for a living from a messaging standpoint, how nervous would you be if you were still in the White House?
I mean, this is not healthy at all for anybody. It's not healthy for the American people. This is a massive distraction. And I think that it's unclear whether Trump wants this distraction to distract away from this terrible bill that's going through Congress right now, or if this is something that he actually wants to put an end to and to move on to talk about something else. But this is a massive distraction that I assume that the Musk team and Trump's team are very cautious of and very aware that this could be could keep going on, and this is all the media is covering, and that's taking away from his agenda. It's going to take away from his parade next Saturday. There's just a lot of downside for him to keep this going.
So, Maura, among Musk's tirades was his claim, quote, without me, Trump would have lost the election. Dems would control the House and the Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate. I mean, whether he can actually take credit can be debated, but Musk did flood more than $250 million into the race. He intended to give another $100 million to Trump's political operation. So what happens if he doesn't and he directs, let's say the money instead to defeating MAGA-endorsed candidates?
It'll be interesting to watch it play out. I think that, Elon Musk did not understand how government worked, especially government, ours. And that we saw kind of in an egregious way because he came in and tried slashing things, and that'll still be, debated in the courts. He just didn't understand bureaucracy, and things don't operate the way that he probably would like for businesses to operate, right? There's a separation there for a reason. And I just, I think when it comes to elections, the House Republicans and Senate Republicans, by and large, are going to stand behind President Trump, right? They're more short-term thinking as far as we've got to get through this bill. We got to pass the president's agenda. They're on the same team. Elon came in at the last minute, essentially, with this election and threw his support behind President Trump, but really has been more of a nuisance than anything. And so, if Democrats want to take his money, and that's their decision. But I just think that moving forward, Republicans are pretty, okay with the fact that Elon's out.
Teddy, what about the risk of investigations into Musk, as Steve Bannon, of course, a fierce critic of Musk, is calling for? Because we saw recent reports of allegedly excessive drug use by Musk during last year's campaign that could warrant probes, plus allegations that Musk initially didn't have a legal basis to live and work here in the U.S., which then puts his immigration status at risk. Is there any appetite in Trump world to take this on?
Yeah, I mean, we reported yesterday that Trump has been sort of asking people, perhaps idly, perhaps not idly, whether or not Musk is doing drugs right now, and is that he must be acting out so unstably because, you know, he's on drugs. I mean, I'm not saying that's true. I'm saying that's what Trump is saying. You know, clearly there are vulnerabilities, to say the least. You know, obviously, given the amount of federal contracts, there's the opportunity for attribution. But, you know, Trump is vindictive, and a lot of things are on the table, right? You never know. Like, I can't give you an answer to say that he wouldn't do it, because Trump does a lot of stuff. But clearly, there are vulnerabilities, and there's the, you know, Musk's kind of sordid, chaotic personal life is an opportunity for Trump to frankly screw with him if he would like to.
So, Megyn, even Russia has weighed in on this. There's one official who joked about hosting peace talks. Another offered for Musk to come work over there. Are U.S. adversaries pouncing on this upheaval or a perceived weakness here somehow?
I mean, they have every right to. This is a joke, right? These two billionaires are having a fight publicly on social media platforms over who can line each other's pockets more. I mean, it's just disgusting that we're even having to deal with this, but it's more embarrassing to our country that our adversaries are now weighing in. But this is also creating a vulnerability for them. They see weakness, and they see how to get under Trump's skin. They see a way in. And I think that we should be cautious of that. And I think that they'll take full advantage of that, whether it's covertly or very out in the open, like that comment that you just posted on the screen.
So, Maura, House Republicans, we saw them scrambling to mollify Musk after speaking out about the mega policy bill. But with Trump and Musk in a full-on feud, where does that leave these lawmakers? Do they flip again? Do they then attack Musk?
The sad reality is that hypocrisy runs rampant in politics, right? So we're not, novices to that. We've seen that play out many times, but on both sides of the aisle. You're seeing it with the attack ads the Democrats have been placing, putting Trump and Elon together as buddies. Do those ads need to be recut now because they want to champion what Elon is saying against the bill? This is part of the game, unfortunately, and it's not a pretty side of it. To Megyn's point, it is quite embarrassing, not only here in the United States, but also on the world stage. But I think for Republicans, they need to look at, okay, what is it that we need to get done? Taking away, going above the fray, which has been hard to find with many of the members of the House and the Senate, but it's that time is to move above the fray. And remember, again, this shouldn't be surprising. Donald Trump has been who he has been. Elon should not have been surprised. Donald Trump has said from day one he wanted to do tariffs. He has been pretty much himself from the get-go. And so everyone who has turned against him, whether from former officials and Elon Musk, it's on them, not on Trump. He has been who he has been, and they chose whether they saw an opportunity for themselves and they didn't play out how they liked it. So I think that's really what we're watching play out here is with him, with Elon Musk, and with others. So Republicans need to decide where they stand. And I think for a large portion of them, they'll stand beside the president.
And so, Teddy, where does all this leave the negotiations on the Republican mega bill?
Well, looks like Elon Musk is about to get a real close-up glimpse or a real test of his influence. I mean, people can remember when there was kind of the negotiation last December, Musk almost did torpedo the bill, right? And there is an opportunity for Musk to kind of turn a new leaf, and maybe he'll say that if there are some improvements made on the Senate side of the bill, that maybe everything is fine, right? And that is sort of kind of the maybe Pollyannish view of this, is that basically Elon will extract a few concessions and he'll bless it, and then it's kumbaya and everybody goes home happy. I was struck last week or over this past week that there are very few Republicans willing to kind of side with Musk over Trump. And I am not getting the sense, based on our reporting, that Elon has the influence, at least on Capitol Hill, that he thinks he does. And Mike Johnson has done a very good job, obviously, of keeping his conference in line. And Trump will continue to kind of ride, hopefully, that unanimity that he's seeing in Capitol Hill to a passage and signature.